are glad that we have an organization such as Project PEP. My name is Raul Aguirre, and I'd like to welcome each and every one of you to this wonderful opportunity to celebrate social justice, celebrate small business development, celebrate education, celebrate citizens getting involved. You know, a lot of people talk about diversity, and they talk about business diversity and education diversity, but look around this room. This is what it's all about. This is how we come together. This is how we make things happen. We have a great program for you, and we are, like I said, very proud, muy orgullosos de estar aquí con ustedes. It gives me great pleasure to bring from the Flowing Wells High School posting of colors.
All guard, roll, lock, face, present, colors.
From the Amado Youth Group, which is a great organization for youth and prevention of drug abuse in our community, please welcome Ricardo Lopez for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ricardo. Thank you. I would like to bring Eddie Grijalva now for the Native American blessing.
When we pray, all sorts of remarkable things happen. The Creator of all creation will provide what we need. And if we do that and we keep close to Him, we'll do the work that we do well, just as Project PEP has done for 50 years. Can you imagine that? 50 years. And I pray for Project PEP for continued longevity and for the multitudes of lives that have been touched and transformed by this organization and the vision of one man and all the people that came alongside to further this vision. And I pray for the staff and all the people involved in this organization that have touched so many lives.
I'd like to bring now Mr. Rich Elias, Pima County Supervisor, District 6.
Well, it's so great to be here with you all tonight to celebrate 50 years of Project PEP. From La Tortuga to international influence, international making a difference. We should really be proud of that. Please, let's give them all a nice round of applause. For everybody who's worked at Project PEP, for all the leadership, for Dr. John Arnold and his family that have sacrificed so much, but also for all the clients that we've served, because they are a part of this too. And we should not forget that service to the rural communities in southern Arizona has made a big difference in people's lives. Sometimes people really don't understand the difficulties that folks out there in the rural areas experience. And instead, we kind of concern ourselves with urban problems and we look at them, but transportation, human services, education for our youth, for our children, all critical services that Project PEP has been involved in. I can't tell you, but I do know this. I don't know where we would be without all of you who support Project PEP and without this organization that has done such great work over the years. And having worked in human services myself, I know how difficult it is, but I also know that it's through service that we acknowledge advocacy. And we advocate for those with less, and we need to. And especially in today's world where everything seems kind of crazy and we get unsure of ourselves because of the violence and hatred that we see getting spilled out in the streets of America today. I say, let's go back to the values that we know have made us great. And those are the same values that have served Project PEP so well for the last 50 years. We should be really proud of that. We should rely on that. We should build more strength on that, because that's what makes us all great. That's what makes Southern Arizona a wonderful place to be. I'm just glad to be here with you for a few minutes tonight to be able to say congratulations and thank you to everyone, especially to Dr. Arnold and his family. But like I said, everybody who's worked at PEP, who supports PEP, and those people that we serve. Thank you very much.
Please welcome, representing Governor Ducey, will you please welcome Juan Ciscomani, de veras, a shining example of our community and the work that we do, and opportunities for the future. Juan, muchas gracias por estar aquí con nosotros. Bienvenido.
I just want to say thank you for having us on behalf of Governor Ducey. Raul, thank you for that introduction. I think it's very important to know that everybody in this room is very deserving to be here. And I can think, Dr. Arnold, of many events in our community that can draw such a diverse group of people and background, from elected officials to community leaders to our neighbors and friends and classmates and young people, younger people. Everybody here celebrating the 50 years. As we read through the accomplishments that I'm not going to list because we don't have all night, it's impressive to see how an organization can sustain itself for 50 years, but even more so, how can one person lead this organization the way Dr. Arnold has. So I just want to say felicidades, congratulations on behalf of Governor Ducey and the state of Arizona. I want to say that we are very proud of the work that you've done, very especially in the area, which is the area where I work for the governor on international trade and international relations. As the governor always says, relationships matter. And establishing and strengthening a good, positive relationship with Mexico has been key for his administration since the first day. And we've done that in coalition and cooperation with many, many of you here in the room, many elected officials, but also the community leaders, and like I said, neighbors and friends. We want to continue to have that positive voice coming from Arizona, telling our friends in Mexico and Canada and whoever else we trade with that Arizona is open for business and that we are a welcoming, friendly community, that we want to value and respect everyone that we encounter. So again, Dr. Arnold, PEP family, everybody here, felicidades for the 50 years, aniversario de oro, as we say. Have a great night and enjoy your food.
Can we have Bertha Brown and John Arnold to receive the commendation from the governor's office?
I have this special note here from Governor Ducey for them. I want to present to you this commendation on behalf of Governor Ducey.
Bertha Brown, Board President, John Arnold, and Dr. Baya. Thank you very much. Everybody knows what La Tortuga is. Little did we know that La Tortuga was serving our community, teaching our farm workers how to have the vision that he could spend that half an hour, 45 minutes, teaching people how to speak a few words of English, how to learn more, how to empower themselves to think more of themselves than just farm workers. To me, that was amazing. Please welcome the founder, John David Arnold. Por favor, el doctor Arnold, una fuerte bienvenida, fuerte aplauso para él, 50 años de trabajo. I can certainly stand up, absolutely, por favor. Lo voy a poner aquí. Muchas gracias. From a grateful community, thank you so much.
Sí se puede, sí se pudo, y sí se podrá. Thank you very much. You know, how do you quantify 50 years? I turned on my WhatsApp this morning and there was a message from a young man that we are helping with a scholarship in the Volta region in Ghana. And I'm going to read you what he said. 50 years equals 5 decades, 600 months, 2,609 weeks, 18,263 days, 438,312 hours, 26,298,720 minutes, and 1.5 billion 77 seconds. Now that's something, isn't it? But you know, there's a lot more to fill in the blanks. You know, my mother, Gracie Arnold, she always told me, when people are hungry, don't talk a lot, because, so I'm going to make it short because I remember what she said. But there are some things you just don't know about PEP. And that's what you're going to hear a little bit of tonight. There's a pre-PEP. There's 2 or 3 tables here that are not celebrating 50 years with us. They are celebrating 62 years with us. We have the people from the Yo-Em Pueblo. We have some people from Rillito. We have people from the Mosley family, and from the Berry family, and the Johnson family. We are the pre-PEP. I want all the pre-peppers to stand up. If you were with PEP before, that's between my ages of 12 and 24. Well, so just let's talk about a couple of instances here. Let's see, we have the Berry family here. The Berries are over here. Very nice people. They remember me with another bus. It was a 1937 GMC bus. And we used to go out to the farm labor camps, and I was doing a migrant ministry. And we were going down this road, and I think John Kai knows the bridge I'm going to talk about. You know that little narrow one? And one time I was coming with that bus, and one of your tractors was coming the other way. And then I just figured out this bus doesn't really have brakes. And so there's this big incline. There comes John Kai's tractor, and there I come with a bus. And fortunately, I remember my dad say, always use the emergency brake when there's emergency. So that's why I'm here, John, still today, because of that. Thank you very much. And so also the Berry family are survivors, because I was a Baptist minister. I baptized people in irrigation ditches. And John, you remember that ditch out there, and the Berries do too. I think I almost lost Pauline, and I almost lost Gladys. And they're floating down there, and well, those were the early days. And I started when I was 12 years old going out in the church bus ministry, and then I did that. 16, I had my own bus, and then PEP came along at 24. However, there's some other things that we probably ought to discuss tonight. There's one family that goes long ways back with me, and that's the Green family. Yes, Poncho, Maria, Ildefonso, Martin. We used to go down to Magdalena to their uncle's ranch, and we had this game. If you know anything about me on my off time, I'm passionate about horses. So the Green family, we had this idea that we would make a race down this arroyo full of sand. But the thing was, if the branch didn't knock you off the horse, we would knock each other off, and the last one standing when the horse got to the other end was the winner. So, and I also remember, I believe it was George and I, we had to accompany Hattie and Bruce Babbitt one time. We took this long, arduous hike from Imuris to Magdalena down the old back way, if you know where I'm talking about, if you've been on one of the pilgrimages. So there's a lot of really cool stories out there. And I want to share one just very recent thing. I was in Green Valley. Where's the Mosley family? There's the Mosley family. Miss Mosley's not here. But I've seen her twice this year. This last time was down in the rest home, and I saw a very lovely picture. Thank you for sending that today. But I was, got in there. Miss Mosley was just having a great sleep, and I said, I'm not going to wake her up. So my greatest moment was just to hold her hand and remember all the great things. When she would say, when the bus wouldn't run right, she'd say, oh, yes, Dr. Arnold. Well, I wasn't doctor, it's just John, it's just going to run. And then we had people like Mercy Tesso, one of our incorporators. She's here tonight. She remembers a year ago, I was down in Oaxaca, and I was on the Pacific coast. I was doing some vegan farming. I've also been a vegan farmer for over 20 years. And I do lectures. And I had a day off, so I took a kayak and we went out into the mangrove areas, and here I'm going in the mangroves, and all of a sudden I start seeing people coming out that were not Mexican, they were not indigenous people, they were Africans. And I know what Africans look like because I've been going to Africa since 2008. I can tell you what Nigerians, what Ghanaians, what Liberians, I know they have different characteristics, but these were definitely Africans. So after a little bit of research, I found out there had been a couple of slave ships that had crashed on the seashore there about 200 years ago. And these were remnants of those people. And so I contacted the Oaxaca superintendent of schools, and I talked to him about the populations of children that were going to these schools with Afro-Mexican descent. And they invited me back, paid my way for 3 weeks, and visited those schools. But the wonderful thing about that is that I got to know some very important people. As a matter of fact, the LULAC convention in Phoenix and the one in San Antonio, we passed a resolution supporting the Afro-Mexicans to be included in the Mexican Constitution. And tonight we're very privileged to have the leader of the Afro-Mexican community here, Father Flaviano Cisneros. Flavio Cisneros, por favor, ¿se puede ponerse de pie? I often imagine what it might have been that night, a hurricane and a storm, and people being thrown onto the beach after the long, arduous trip around the Horn. And then the people that must have been having a loving heart that picked them up, took them in, made them part of their community. And I think that's what PEP is about, and that's why I really identified with that community so much, is because of the loving spirit, the kindness, people forgetting about the color and the ethnicity and whether we look like it or not, and bringing people together. So, Padre Fabiano, nada más que queremos decir que te estamos apoyando en tu lucha. La lucha que sea ustedes reconocido en la Constitución mexicana como verdadero parte de esa comunidad grande mexicana. So I just want you to know that. Muchas gracias, Señor. Dios le bendiga. Well, that's a lot of this and that's, right? But anyway, I do want to recognize a couple of people, well, more than a couple of people. First of all, I want to recognize all the present and past staff members of Project PEP. If you've worked any time in the 50 years, please stand up. If you worked for Project PEP. And it takes real ridership to ride in La Tortuga. And thank you very much for being with us. All of the board members, past and present, of any of the PEP and affiliates, would you please stand up? How many of you have had PEP babies? PEP babies. How many have had PEP babies? When you've been here during the 50 years, I know I have 3 of them. They're here tonight. PEP baby. How many of you have PEP babies? I saw several of them tonight. So that's all part of what PEP is. Our families are part of our workforce. Our families are volunteers. Our families put up those many hours when we're not able to be home and be with them. I want to thank my PEP family, and I have Chaska and Tika and Larry here tonight, and Howard and Russell are here tonight as well. Elise was with us at the very beginning. I remember Hector Morales introduced Elise to us at one time. She was a field rep for the Western States, and we met up in, I believe it was in Flagstaff, and it was a wonderful experience to meet this individual, then also to have her be part of our family for over 3 decades. So much was done, and I appreciate her work and all of the things that she has done. And you'll see in our timeline many instances of the work. She first came, we only had a few $100,000. When she left, we had a few $1 million. So Elise, where are you? We want to recognize you tonight. Would you please? That's Brianna, one of our PEP Tech students, and also Isha is here with us from Kenya. We're very proud of we have a number of our students here from Somalia. We have the Yosef family with us and the Ishmael family. We're very glad to have them with us. The second person that we would like to recognize is John Kine. And we've already talked about his tractor and his bridge and everything else, but John is a marvelous individual, known him for many years. And how can I start with stories? Just to remind myself, he's a great individual, a great friend, and from the employer of the farm workers and from an organization that served the farm workers, that's been a great partnership. If you go across the state of Arizona, we have Tony Asaguera, the packer out in Yuma. We have many, many people that we're working with. But John received the PEP Farm Worker Hall of Fame Awards. John, thank you so much. And I just on a personal note want to say, most of you have read about John recently, about the terrible, almost tragedy where he was shot several times, and he's a survivor. Let's give John a big hand and Elise a big hand. Thank you very much. So I think I've done my part. I hear my mother saying that's enough. You need to let go and let somebody else speak, so I'm going to do that.
I'd like to continue now with the program, and we have a special recognition, and I'm going to bring Gertha Brown Hurd, the PEP board president, to do this.
I want to thank everyone for coming. I have known Dr. Arnold for over 50 years. Now, this young man, when I met him, he was a young man. So I still think of him as the young man I met 50 years ago who had an idea. Now, this was in the 60s, and you had to be a little bit radical in your thinking in the 60s. This was the time of the Civil Rights Movement. This was the time of the War on Poverty. And this was the time of community development. And this young man had an idea. And he was radical in his thinking when he decided to buy a bus so that he could use as his classroom so that he could come to the farm workers in the rural areas, because at that time there was very little services available to people living in the rural areas, especially the farm workers. So one of the things that his idea is that education. Education is the key to many opportunities, and it's the key to freedom. And this was a time when the industrial technology was coming to the farms, so that a lot of laborers were displaced because of the technology in the industry. For instance, you no longer needed manual labor to pick cotton because they now had machines that would do that. You no longer needed, later on, workers in the fields to chop the cotton or to pick the cotton or to thin the cotton. So what were those people going to do? So Dr. Arnold came up with the idea that if he had a bus that could go around to the farm workers where they lived at, he could give them some type of education. And this was ESL, English as a Second Language. Also, people who did not get their high school diploma, he provided GED classes for them. Also, in some of these rural communities, he also helped with community development. He taught the people that you can be in charge of your own destiny, and that is through developing your own community. In some of these communities, I think in Sahuarita and I know in Rito, we still have our own water company that is owned by the community. One of the things that PEP did, he not only went to the rural areas in Pima County, He went throughout Arizona to all the farm workers, providing services to them. He also took his idea internationally. And one of the things that I like about Project PEP, he's a very good example of cultural diversity. Dr. Arnold not only went to different places, he also went to different countries. He embraced their culture. He brought their culture back and started the PEP Hall of Fame. If you ever go down to 46th Street, you will see the Hall of Fame where we have different cultures highlighted there. Everybody is given a gift, and it's what you do with that gift is your legacy. Dr. Arnold mentioned that he was not only out there trying to develop communities, he also provided spiritual services. He attended many weddings. He officiated at many weddings. He did my parents' 50th wedding anniversary. He went to all the funerals that he knew about. And I remember his saying that he baptized a lot of people in the irrigation ditches. We didn't have swimming pools back then. We had irrigation ditches, and they did serve a purpose. And for this, Dr. Arnold's mission has been successful. He has taken his ideas internationally. And for that, we want to honor him and give him an award. And this award comes from the Street Academy in Ghana, which are children that he has brought education to. And Dr. Arnold, this is an oil painting, and I think it depicts the strength that this man has, that these children thought enough of him to do this gorgeous painting. We want to thank you for your many years of services and for putting your ideas into work.
Thank you very much. I would like to share just one thing. The Street Academy, there's over 5,000 children in the capital of Ghana, which is Accra, that are street kids. They have no place to live. Their lives are at stake because of their trying to maneuver through cars and selling. We worked in starting this, and we had just a terrible building. And just recently, MTN, which is comparable to Verizon, just built a beautiful facility for these kids, and we're so proud that just because of a small seed fund, we don't use any of our PEP program funds. A lot of it's volunteers and things like that. These other we had a foundation from Spain and from Denmark come also in and become partners. And I just want to say too, we're celebrating this in Africa. Tomorrow we have in West Africa a major volleyball, girls, boys volleyball tournament, and they've been communicating back and forth with our youth today a little bit through WhatsApp. So it's a great family. Poverty knows no boundaries. It knows no ocean boundaries, and we are all here together. You know, just the fact that in many countries that we work in, like Cameroon, Ghana, Liberia, Nigeria, Ethiopia, and Somalia, many of the animals are gone. The young lady that was up here, Isha, a few minutes ago, she's from Kenya. And one of the big concerns that we have is the decimation of the animals, the decimation of the forest. And so these are some of the causes we have been helping support people. You can see them on our website, the ppep.org, and can go onto the buttons and actually see the work that we're doing. But thank you very much. It's a great honor to receive this, and thank you again, Bertha.
It's a wonderful recognition. And I also would like to bring Jorge Valenzuela from the Save the Children in Mexico. Jorge, little thing that you don't know about John Arnold is that he gets around, man. He has pictures with mariachis, with Tejanos, with rappers. That's how bad he is. And now, los mexicanos in the house. Bienvenidos.
Pues venimos de México, de la tribu Yaqui, del Valle del Yaqui, donde estamos trabajando para los niños, salvarlos de la situación difícil que viven. Pero, ¿quién no conoce el que es mexicano? Uno de los símbolos grandes de México, nuestro símbolo Yaqui. Y este símbolo pues no se entrega a quien quiera, a quien sea. Lo vamos a entregar a una persona que desde Oaxaca, Chiapas, Guerrero, Chihuahua, ha brindado un apoyo extraordinario para salir adelante con los niños y los jóvenes en México. Aquí muestra de ello, yo traigo jóvenes que ya están trabajando con nosotros, que niños de culturas de la Sierra de Sonora, ya pues han sido niños que llegaron a estudiar, son universitarios, ya están trabajando. Muchas gracias, John.
And Ricardo, of course, was just saying 50 years of working with the Yaqui, the Yoeme people in Mexico, and recognizing the labor of love that Dr. Arnold has put in there in that great bastion of Sonora in the Cajeme, Ciudad Obregón area. You know, the different clubs across the world do wonderful work, and the Rotarians are one of those groups that are continuously showing us about the passion and the compassion of doing things for communities of need. So right now, por favor, please welcome the president of the Rotary Club of Mexico, Ricardo Nova. Ricardo, gracias por estar aquí con nosotros. Bienvenido.
Buenas tardes a todos. Es un gusto para todos los rotarios de México estar con todos ustedes, con el doctor John, esta tarde, al cual pues queremos agradecerle a todo el apoyo que ha estado brindando a todos los mexicanos aquí en Estados Unidos. Muchas gracias, doctor, por todo este gran apoyo que se ha recibido de parte de usted, y muchas felicitaciones en este 50 aniversario.
El juramento Yaqui, the promise of the Yaqui, the Yoeme people, also from Sonora, the Rotarians here with us celebrating and again talking about how important is the work of Project PEP and Dr. Arnold in those parts of the world. I'd like to bring for a brief, quick presentation the mayor of Tucson, Jonathan Rothschild.
All right. Thank you all for being here. What a great turnout for the 50th anniversary. I'm not going to speak long other than to thank Dr. Arnold for his work. His history in the history of this organization is one that we should all admire. It's a living history, and it's a history that goes back to the days of the field workers having no rights. And Dr. Arnold went out and assured that folks got an education and used education to raise people up. And today, quite honestly, we're doing the same thing. And so the work that Dr. Arnold has started is work that we have to continue. You know, I think La Tortuga got its name because it was green and it was slow, right? But the fact of the matter is that today, that bus has more meaning, the Tortuga has more meaning, because both the bus and PPEP have longevity. And longevity is something that for this organization, we should all be very proud of. So I'm just happy that we're all here and can thank Dr. Arnold for his work and hope that it continues for many years to come. So thank you very much, appreciate it.
Please welcome Richard Fimbres. Big round of applause.
Good evening, how you all doing? It's beautiful to see so many people here to honor and recognize all the hard work that PEP has done over the last 50 years. They have done so many things, and there's been so many great pioneers that have done so many things. People have talked about the work in rural Arizona and in the other countries, but I want to tell you something. When I worked for the Sheriff's Department as the programs manager, John Arnold was one of the pioneers to bring in a lot of the social workers, and substance abuse counselors to come in and provide a very valuable service to the folks that were incarcerated in our county facilities. Not only that, but through his network, we were able to get these folks upon release and get them into so they wouldn't come right back in. So, John, you guys were a pioneer in that, and we appreciate that. But I want to recognize some people that have also served this great country of ours and our great city, and the first one is Luis Mosley. Luis is going to get a certificate, and the mayor is going to bestow upon her a medallion of hope. And the certificate says, on behalf of the city of Tucson, Ward 5 Council Office, it is with great honor that this certificate is presented to you in appreciation for your leadership and commitment to Project PEP and our community. As an original staff member of PEP Inc. From August 1967, we thank you for your dedication and loyalty, forever indebted to their belief in PEP's original vision to improve the quality of rural life. Si se pudo. Our next recipient is Elizabeth Johnson. Elizabeth. Our next recipient is Mercy Teso. Mercy. One of the original still there is Gertha Brown Hurd. Well, Gertha's coming up. I ask you to all go visit the PEP Hall of Fame and the museum that they have established there. It really speaks of our history and the work that the folks have done. And you'll look through that museum and you'll see the work that John has done, not only in Arizona, but throughout the country. Jose A. Cruz. What's Jose? And our last recipient is Diputada Federal Leticia Amparano Gomez. Would you please come up? And it's on behalf of the city of Tucson, Ward 5, it is with great honor that this public service certificate is presented to you in appreciation of your leadership and commitment to Project PEP and our community. We thank you for your dedication and support. Bienvenida.
Ballet Folclórico Tapatío.
introduce someone very special. Among all of the Mexican people of governance that I've ever met, there is one woman that I can tell you stands head and shoulders above all of them. She is a woman that spoke up for women's rights in Mexico when that was not one thing that she talked about. She talked about domestic violence. She didn't talk about it, but as a legislator, she passed the laws. And I'm sure many times her life was threatened. It's very difficult. But I've also watched this individual as a state legislator, a state senator, and now diputada federal, which is like a federal congressional person as we know in the United States. Leticia Amparano was here just a few moments ago. We're going to bring her back up as our guest speaker. But you know, she's also been ahead of the mental health programs in all the state of Sonora. And also, when I first met her, she was working with the developmentally disabled. And when you say those two words, that's something that's very close to our heart. The largest program in Project PEP, we have 18 group homes and over 200 employees just in that program alone. And that is the one, I had a lady come up to me just a moment ago and said, and it was a mother or guardian, said, "You don't know what a change has happened to my individual, the member that's in one of your group homes, your DTA." So Leticia Amparano, she is our guest speaker today from Mexico, la diputada federal. She had to leave the Congress to fly back from Mexico City, got into Hermosillo and made it up here. So Leticia.
Muy buenas noches, hombres, mujeres. Gracias por estar en esta noche tan especial del PEP y por qué hay que reconocer de una manera increíble a este hombre tan generoso y valiente, John Arnold. Gracias, John, hoy estás cumpliendo 50 años. 50 años de lucha, 50 años de trabajo. Y es muy justo que la gente reconozcamos de una manera tremenda la dinámica que has hecho, el legado que has hecho también para toda nuestra gente, los braceros, para la gente del campo, y ahorita cómo estás trabajando de la mano con nosotros en México. Yo conocí a John ya hace prácticamente 15 años, trabajando desde el Congreso del Estado con leyes, como él mencionaba, para niños, para mujeres, mucha legislación social, porque hace algunos años aún todo era muy olvidado. Gracias, John, por ese trabajo, por ese esfuerzo. Hoy reconocemos que sin el PEP, que sin John y su gran equipo de trabajo, seguramente la vida para muchos migrantes, para muchos mexicanos, no sería igual. Agradezco profundamente el apoyo que les das a nuestros albergues de niños de la calle, cómo se han recuperado, los albergues de enfermos mentales en calidad de calle, un albergue que trabajamos en equipo, John, y que nos ha dejado muchas satisfacciones, tus clínicas para atender la diabetes, tu apoyo incondicional, amigo, para tanto trabajo que hemos hecho en México, en comunidades indígenas, en comunidades rurales. Gracias, John, Dios te bendiga y Dios nos bendiga a todos. Gracias, señores, y buenas noches.
Yeah, Richard Estrada is here also to do a special presentation. Pero Richard Estrada, que es el presidente de LULAC estatal, va a hacer una presentación especial para Leticia. Richard, welcome.
Hi, thank you very much. Thank you guys very much for being part of this community event. Us at LULAC, we're very proud and honored to be a part of this also. John Arnold has done so much good work in the community, and the people that John Arnold works with, as you can see, are incredible people. So we thank Leticia for all her good work, and Ms. Amparano, you've done such good work, and she is a LULACer also, so this award is duly done for you. Thank you so much.
Felicidades, Leticia, muchas gracias por tu trabajo. We thank you. And you know, she expressed, for some of you who may be monolingual, it's just the great work that John Arnold and Project PEP have done in Mexico, in rural areas, in indigenous communities, and we'd like for you to please give her a big round of applause. Congresswoman Leticia Amparano Gomez, thank you so much. Richard. you have something else.
Yes, real quick, while I have a chance, I'd like to give this plaque to John Arnold. And John Arnold was a very, very good man.
It's all right. Thank you, Lulak. Thank you, Richard. Appreciate it. I'd like to bring now Ricardo Albarrán. Por favor, Ricardo Pineda, Albarrán, Consul de Mexico. You know, the Otley was given to Dr. Arnold, presented by the Mexican consulate. The Otley is the highest award given to a person in the United States and other parts of the world who for many, many years have been doing great work on behalf of the Mexican and the Mexican-American community. And to us here, it was a very great source of pride, and he follows many other people who have done great work. And I know you have a few words on why that happens and why that is important. Muchas gracias por estar aquí con nosotros. Bienvenido, Cónsul.
Claro que sí, Raúl, muchas gracias. Muy buenas tardes, tengan todos ustedes. Y se lo voy a comentar ahora en español y en inglés, porque ya lo dijiste en inglés, Raúl. John, truly an honor as consulate of Mexico, as consul from Mexico, since the last 4 years, to work with you and with your organization. To say and to name a PEP project, this looks like easy, but when you take a look of the numbers, go through and learn that PEP has more than 11 schools and online programs, as well as more than $20 million offers in loans to small business in the border region, and the many projects that has been named here today, and that you have been working for the last 50 years. It's not an easy task. It's a lifelong task, but more than that, my friend, it's a lifestyle. In 2016, we award John Arnold con el premio Otley, the Otley Award. It was really an important moment for us. We invited John, who was bestowed an award with this Otley Award before around 7,000-8,000 people from our community at the ABBA Amphitheater at the Casino del Sol. It was a great moment for us. It was an important day because we award this specific prize to the Mexican-American community, the one that can have worked for our community, the one that had contributed with this specific task and lifestyle. So, Otley, for the Nahuatl in Mexico, is a way of being, es el camino que se supone todos debemos vivir. Por eso, John Arnold, muchas gracias y nos da mucho gusto, querido amigo, volver a reconocerte, hablar de este premio y de hablar que era más que merecido y era lo que podíamos ofrecer para reconocer tu labor. Muchas gracias, felices 50 años, ¿verdad? Y te auguro y te deseo que sigan otros 50, y corregí mi discurso porque íbamos a decir 500, pero con otros 50.
So we are not going to let him go yet. So what I want to say about the Mexican consulate here in Tucson, it is the best one that we work with at any time over the 50 years. Thank you very much. Let's give them a big hand.
Well, congratulations to Dr. John Arnold, Board President Hurd, and the PEP family for leaving a lasting impact on our community over the last 50 years, which is certainly indicated by the crowd that has shown up tonight at this event. We are very proud to call PEP a community partner. And we are committed to help you succeed over your next 50 years and beyond, because you know that Dr. Arnold probably has a lot of plans and vision up in front of him. It has been such an honor tonight to get the chance to meet Jessica Cox, who is an international inspirational keynote speaker who happens to be from Sierra Vista, from Southern Arizona. I think you'll really enjoy getting to hear her speak. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Jessica before she comes up, and we're going to see a short video. So Jessica was born without arms. Though differently abled, she has made achievements with her feet that most people only dream of. Jessica enrolled in dance and taekwondo at a young age and was told she was physically able and that her only attitude would hold her back. At the age of 14, Jessica earned her first black belt in the International Taekwondo Federation. Jessica graduated from the University of Arizona with a degree in psychology, and while in college, she found an ATA martial arts club to continue her training. Her greatest accomplishment, though, is being recognized with a Guinness World Record for being the first person to be certified to fly an airplane with her feet. Jessica has released her first book, Disarm Your Limits, and has appeared on The Ellen Show, CNN, and Fox. And it's an honor to have her here tonight.
I think with that, it's a great segue to talk to some of our students who are good examples of persistence, of focus, and of trying to be the best that they can be. Thank you. Thank you very much. I think it's a great segue.
My name is Carolina Acosta, and I just recently graduated from PPEP High School in San Luis, Arizona, Cesar Chavez Learning Center. If I may, I'd like to tell you my oh-so-average story. When I finished middle school, I was looking into what high school was right for me. That was when I found PPEP High School, which was just right in front of my house, so that's easy to find. There were many aspects from that particular high school that made me decide on enrolling. For example, the fact that they gave me the opportunity to graduate in 3 years and only go 4 days to school was kind of a bestseller. But there were also other points, like having smaller classes. This gave me the opportunity to get to know my teachers better and them to get to know me better, and so they could adjust to the way I learned, and that helped me succeed. I also want to thank them because thanks to them, I was surrounded by a lot of great teachers, and they all helped me decide on a career in education. I'm going to start college next semester. When I start college, I'm going to go into the education field to become a teacher. Thank you, everyone, and have a good night.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dayanara Falcon. I'm 24 years old, and I'm from San Luis, Arizona. First of all, I wanted to thank the funder of Project PEP, Inc., Dr. John David Arnold, for his vision to help communities with all programs that Project PEP has. For example, Project PEP Youth Bill AmeriCorps, that I am a member, and it's been adopted from 2003. Before I was a student of Youth Bill, I had a life not too good, and the opportunity for jobs wasn't too much for me because I didn't accomplish high school. My experience in Project PEP Youth Bill AmeriCorps, it has been a dream come true because the program prepares me to accomplish anything with excellence, everything I set out I can do. In this program, I made a lot of things that before I wasn't expecting to make. That's why I decided to do a change in my life. One day, I realized that my life needed to change because I'm a mom of a 2-year-old girl, and I need to continue my education, and my best choice was to apply in Project PEP Inc. Youth Bill AmeriCorps. The program is giving me the opportunity to grow in different pillars, such as education. For example, in education, I have learned in the 5 subjects to accomplish my GED, high school diploma equivalent. Construction abilities, I develop skills in construction, but I also learned how to work in teamwork. That is another skill. In leadership, how to lead a group of people and succeed our goals. Each pillar gave me the opportunity to participate in community services and give back something to my community. Each member of the staff encouraged me to continue with my education. They made me realize that it's very important to see for my future. Definitely, being a student in Project PEP Youth Bill AmeriCorps allows me to have a better thinking for my future because I want to continue education in college and graduate from office administration. For last, I want to thank Dr. John David Arnold because if it was not for him, I didn't have a second chance in my life. Dr. Arnold is a hero for too many people that also helps in different ways. Thank you.
Lori Grace Arnold. After she graduated in 1996, where she was co-enrolled with Pima College at the time, she went to the Victory Bible Institute and got a certificate in ministry in 2001. Then she went into the banking field. She worked at Chase Bank in Tucson as personal banker. Then she started speed skating. Shortly thereafter, she became a speed skating medalist at the Outdoor Nationals at the Olympic Training Center and Velodrome in Colorado Springs. In 1996, in Panama, she provided faith-based outreach services to youth and their families in the Darien jungle and remote areas that hadn't ever seen foreigners. And then in 1997, in Venezuela, she provided the same outreach services to youth and their families. And then, in 1997, during the Bosnia and Croatian War, she went into Croatia as part of a service team to help build a Bosnian refugee camp where she stayed. That's just the kind of profile that a graduate of PrEP can put together, and I think it's with great pleasure that I give her this award as a member of our first graduating class, and as somebody who's shown how a PEP graduate can give back to the community and give back to the world at large. And it's really my honor to meet you.
A wonderful example. Big round of applause. Thank you so very much. Thank you, Wayne. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Dr. Kazu, for coming.
Thank you, man. Okay, I'm very honored to be here with PPEP Foundation. I've been working with John Arnold for about 10 years, and I'm just really honored to be working with him. If there was such an award, I would nominate him for the humanist of the last 50 years. So he's done such good work. And we have programs working together in West Africa, in Mexico, and a variety of other places. And John just keeps expanding. He always finds a new program to do. And so I really want to honor John as being really heroic. And I just want to mention one more thing. I know it's getting a little late. And there is a biblical kind of teaching about service. The person who's doing the service is being served. That may seem backwards, but you'll understand in a moment. So when you're doing service, you are expanding your heart. You're expanding your consciousness. And you go deeper spiritually. There's a deeper connection with God because we have that opportunity to see God in every person. Another way it works, again, we have to do it without an intention, is that when you're serving, using an Eastern term, you're burning karma. In Hebrew we say midah keneged midah, which means so you actually burn up negative actions that we all have participated in one way or another. And so that service nullifies that in the big picture. And perhaps the most important is the very deep biblical teaching is walk before God and be a blessing. And I want to honor everyone here for doing that. And in closing, I want to bless everyone that you continue to be an inspiration to those around you, that you continue to be blessing to the world, to yourself, and to God. Amen.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Dr. Gabriel Cousins, thank you so much. Thank you, Sherry, for doing this for us. Give a big round of applause. Thank you.
Be quick. Father God, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for this beautiful celebration. Thank you for 50 years. Thank you for 50 more years. And let everybody have traveling grace back to their destinations, whether it's near or far. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you so very much. All right, well, we're going to close with Dr. Arnold. It's been a wonderful celebration, 50 years, hopefully 50 more. The kind of work that you've done is exemplary, is wonderful.
We're starting the next 50th in about 10 more seconds. And so thank you for being on this grand journey. And we have a long way to go. You know, folks, in the next few years, starting next year, we're going to look at the 2018 budget. It's going to be many of the programs that we have depended on are being zeroed out. So we're going to have to need all of the organizations, all of the people with strength to be solid and create these liaisons and these partnerships to go forward to Si Se Puede, Si Se Pudo, and Si Se Podrá. Muchas gracias. Que Dios les bendiga.
I'm not so sure that there is any organization like PEP with the breadth that it has, and that's I think it's very unique.
David Arnold es un hombre conocido y en su honor hoy componemos este humilde y fiel corrido. Nació en el 42 en un rancho muy pequeño en el sur de Pensilvania, donde brotaron sus sueños. Hacia México partió cuando tenía 6 años y vivió en Guadalajara hasta cumplir 12 años. De ahí se vino a Tucson, esto ténganlo por cierto, y él se dijo, aquí me quedo, a mí me gusta el desierto. A la edad de 12 años, John se puso a trabajar, enseñando a los braceros, sin dejar el de estudiar. En la Wakefield estudió, y aquí en la High School del pueblo, de esas 2 grandes escuelas, tiene bonitos recuerdos. Fue a la Uni de Arizona y ahí estudió muchas cosas, recibiendo en sus materias siempre excelentes notas. Estudió 2 bachilleres, español y sociología, doctorado en educación y también sus 2 maestrías. John es un gran visionario, siempre viendo hacia el futuro. Por eso lanzó el PEP y él hoy dice si se pudo. Regresó con los braceros a los campos de lechuga en un camión pasajero al que llamó la Tortuga. En este mismo camión, el cual todavía existe, John impartía sus clases debajo de los mezquites. Pep comienza de la nada y hoy es una gran agencia conocida por el mundo con importante presencia. Pep es una agencia enorme con más de 30 despachos por toditito Arizona y con 500 empleados. John tiene de sus 4 hijos, ellos son Lori y Renato, los otros son Chasca y Tica. Jan es un padre sensato, él conoce a mucha gente, políticos y gentes claves, y también fue un gran amigo del señor don César Chávez. Jan ha viajado mucho alrededor de este mundo, desde México hasta Japón, su conocer es profundo. En África lo conocen y también allá en la India, donde un abrazo estrecho del mero gran Dalai Lama. En México estuvo con Fox, en África con un rey, también en la Casa Blanca con Bill y Hillary Clinton. Su meta es simple y sencilla, es mejorarles la vida a toda la gente pobre, teniendo a Dios como guía. Por eso la agencia PPEP ofrece tantos servicios a toda la gente pobre, sin distinción ni perjuicio. Jan a todos trata igual, con respeto y dignidad. Por razas él no distingue, siempre da oportunidad a los yaquis y a los mayos. Les ha brindado su apoyo. Jan es un humanitario, ese ha sido su gran rollo. Muchos grupos y amistades a Jan lo han reconocido con homenajes y premios, y yo con este corrido. Aquí termina el corrido de mi gran y buen amigo, el doctor Jan David Arnold, amigo del campesino.